I should have closed the stream the second it started. That thought has been replaying in my head every night since. It's like a whisper that follows me, rattling in the quiet moments, reminding me of the instant I could have backed out and saved myself from all of this. But I didn't. I kept watching. And now I can't tell where the stream ended and where my life began to unravel. I know how this sounds, like one of those ridiculous chain emails from the early 2000s or some Reddit post people laugh at before scrolling past. But I'm not writing this for laughs. I'm writing this because what I saw isn't supposed to exist, and if I don't get this out now, it'll disappear the same way everything else has. You need to understand something. This isn't a game. It wasn't a creepypasta. It wasn't a prank channel or some edgy performance art. This was real, and it was happening live. I saw things no one should ever see broadcast, things that seemed too deliberate, like the stream was waiting for me, personally. If this video disappears, you'll know why. If my account suddenly wipes itself, or if my posts start vanishing like the forums I found, you'll have your answer. That's why I need to tell it all here, in order, before they trace it back and shut it down. I can't promise you safety. Hell, I don't even know if I'm safe anymore. Every night, I hear the echo of that warped voice from the stream, bleeding into my headphones even when they're unplugged. Every so often, I'll catch a flicker of myself in reflections, like I'm being recorded, even when my phone's face down. I didn't believe in this kind of thing. I used to laugh at people who claimed the dark web could reach into your real life, who swore up and down that haunted live streams were more than bad ARGs. But I was wrong, horribly wrong. And if you're still here, still listening, then maybe you'll be wrong with me. This isn't about clicks or clout. It's about warning you, and maybe, just maybe, buying myself a little more time by putting the truth out in the open. Because once you've seen what I saw that night, you'll understand why silence isn't an option. It started, like most bad decisions, on a night when I was bored and should have gone to sleep. It was one of those nights where the hours blur together, and the glow of the screen is the only thing convincing you you're still awake. 2 in the morning, maybe 3, I don't even remember anymore. My desk was cluttered with half-empty soda cans, my phone was overheating from doom scrolling, and I was in that weird half-delirious state where everything feels like a good idea. So, instead of shutting my laptop and doing the same thing, sleep, I dove deeper into the endless whirlpool of content. Twitch streams of people yelling over games I didn't care about. YouTube rabbit holes of top 10 unsolved internet mysteries. Even a guy eating progressively spicier noodles until he looked like he was experiencing an out-of-body event. That's how bored I was. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't looking for trouble. I wasn't trying to summon demons through Wi-Fi or hack into the Pentagon. I just wanted something different. Something weird enough to jolt me out of the monotony. You know that feeling? Like you've already consumed every corner of the internet, and you're desperate for something new, even if it's a little shady. That's when I stumbled on a thread, buried in the comments section of a video about unexplained live streams. Someone casually mentioned, if you want to see something real, check out the streams they don't talk about on YouTube. Of course, they didn't link it directly. That would have been too easy. Instead, it was this breadcrumb trail. Usernames, coded phrases, half-deleted comments. Like an initiation ritual for the perpetually curious. Looking back, the warning signs were right there in the chat. People typing things like, don't click unless you're ready. Or, mods will delete this soon. At the time, though, I laughed it off. Dark web boogeyman stories never scared me. If anything, they felt like clickbait for gullible teenagers. Still, something about that thread stuck with me. Maybe it was the urgency in the way people argued back and forth, half saying it was fake, half swearing it ruined their lives. Maybe it was because I was tired and wired enough to think I'd just stumbled into some underground club. Either way, I started following the trail. Every link led to another link. Every clue felt deliberately hidden, like someone wanted me to earn the right to see what was at the end. And each step deeper, I told myself I could always back out, close the tab, and go to bed. Spoiler, I didn't. By the time I reached the final link, I was buzzing with adrenaline. The page was bare bones, nothing flashy, just a black background, red text, and a single message pulsing like it was alive. Live now. And even though every instinct in me should have screamed to slam the laptop shut, I hovered there, cursor trembling over the words. That's when curiosity started to feel less like boredom and more like hunger. The link wasn't sitting out in the open like some sketchy pop-up ad. It was buried, tucked away in a forum thread, so old the formatting looked like something out of the early 2000s. No profile pictures, no slick UI, just walls of text and usernames that looked auto-generated by broken CAPTCHA bots. That alone should have been enough to make me click away. But then I saw it. A post at the bottom of the thread, timestamped just 12 minutes earlier. Live feed up now. Won't last. Watch if you dare. 12 minutes. That was what hooked me, not the words themselves, but the timing. A fresh post in a thread that had been gathering digital dust for months. It felt like stumbling into a room right after someone left, the air still warm with their presence. Scrolling through the replies, I felt my pulse spike. Some people begged for a working mirror, others warned anyone reading to stay the hell away. A few comments had already been deleted, replaced with little gray boxes that read, "Removed," like they'd never existed. That's the moment I should have listened to my better judgment. That's when the rational part of me whispered, "This is bait. It's a scam, a virus, or worse." But rationality doesn't mean much when curiosity has already sunk its teeth in. Besides, there was something about the way people argued in the comments, frantic, desperate, like they weren't playing around. One user wrote, "This isn't the kind of stream you just watch. It watches you back." Another posted, "Mods are deleting these links as soon as they're posted. If you're seeing this, it's because they haven't found it yet." The FOMO hit me like caffeine. I wasn't about to be the guy who closed the tab right before the good part. Not when I'd already made it this far. The link itself was ugly, a string of random characters that didn't even look like a proper URL. No HTTPS, no security lock. Clicking it was basically an engraved invitation for my laptop to catch fire. But my finger hovered there anyway, the glow of the word live pulling me in like a moth circling a bare light bulb. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was just some obscure indie art project, some wannabe horror director testing out viral marketing. If that was the case, worst case scenario, I'd waste a few minutes of my night. Best case, I'd get a creepy story to laugh about later. Except a part of me knew I wasn't going to laugh about this. The site took longer to load than it should have, like it was sizing me up before letting me in. The screen stayed black for a solid 10 seconds, long enough for me to wonder if my Wi-Fi had cut out, before a splash of jagged text appeared. "Welcome, observer." That word, observer, made my stomach twist. It was too specific, too personal, like it had been waiting for me. Below the greeting, there was nothing but a blinking red button labeled Enter Stream. No ads, no sidebars, no clutter. Just a single choice staring me down. I sat there for a long moment, chewing my lip, convincing myself that I could still back out. My laptop fan was already whirring like it was overheating from the tension alone. I told myself it was stupid. I told myself I wasn't going to get sucked into some creep's phishing scam. But the button kept pulsing, glowing faintly brighter every time I thought about clicking away. In the back of my head, the words from that forum repeated like a dare. "This isn't the kind of stream you just watch. It watches you back." And God help me, that only made me want to see it more. I pressed the button. The screen flickered once, twice, like static struggling to form an image. My reflection appeared for a split second, distorted in the blackness, before the feed snapped to life. And just like that, I was inside. The stream sputtered to life in a haze of pixelated static, like an old VHS tape half chewed by a machine. At first, it looked like nothing, just a dimly lit room with a cheap webcam propped too close to the subject. The kind of low-budget, lo-fi aesthetic you'd expect from a wannabe horror YouTuber trying to go viral. A single desk lamp cast a cone of yellow light over a battered wooden table. The walls behind it were bare, cracked plaster painted in that faded beige every abandoned apartment seems to wear. In the center of the frame sat a man, or at least a figure shaped like one. His face was obscured by a hood pulled low and a surgical mask stretched across his mouth. Not uncommon these days, but something about it felt off. The way the fabric moved didn't quite match the rhythm of breathing. Too shallow, too delayed, like the mask was only pretending to conceal something. The chat exploded the second the stream stabilized. Dark Web Hunter 92. Bruh, this is fake as hell, lol. User deleted, get out. Stop watching. Kill Mepples. El Mayo, is this Saw 9? Eyewitness, he's back. Oh my god, he's really back. I leaned closer, smirking at the usual mix of trolls and doomsayers. Every sketchy corner of the internet has them. The ones calling everything a hoax, and the ones swearing it's the end of the world. But then I noticed how fast some of the terrified messages were being deleted, like moderators or something else didn't want them to stay visible. The figure at the table moved slowly, deliberately. He adjusted the webcam once, tilting it too far so the shot angled upward. For a brief moment, the frame caught a glimpse of the ceiling, and my stomach lurched. There were handprints smeared across it. Dark, irregular smudges clustered above where he sat, as if dozens of people had clawed upward at once. The camera dipped back down before I could process it fully. Maybe it was a trick of the light. Maybe. The man placed an object on the table, a cheap microphone, old enough that the foam cover was cracked and peeling. He didn't speak at first, just tapped it twice with one gloved finger, sending a hollow thump-thump through my speakers. The chat went wild. Stream lover, is he gonna talk this time? Redacted user. No. Anonymous 01. Notice how he sets it up every time. This is ritual. I rolled my eyes. Ritual? More like roleplay. It had all the trappings of a creepy performance, sure, but nothing I hadn't seen a dozen times before in the weirder parts of Twitch. Still, there was something in the silence, thick, heavy, like the audio itself was bending. The static in the feed didn't sound like digital noise anymore. It sounded like breathing. That's when I noticed the background. At first it was just the cracked plaster wall, but every so often, when the pixels blurred and corrected, I thought I saw faces. Pale outlines pressing forward as if from beneath the surface, like the wall was a sheet of thin ice and something was clawing just beneath it. Each time I blinked, they were gone, leaving only plaster. I told myself I was imagining it. Sleep deprivation, bad compression, whatever. I wasn't about to spook myself over some trick of bandwidth. The man finally leaned toward the microphone. The sound that came out wasn't a voice at all. It was a glitch. A low, grinding distortion, like audio files corrupted by static. Yet beneath the distortion, I swore I heard syllables forming. Words. The chat lit up in panic. Eyewitness, he's saying names. Burnt match. Turn it off, turn it off. Lol, nope. Nah bro, this is scripted, chill. I leaned closer, straining to make sense of it. The distortion warped, stretched, and then suddenly sharpened into something unmistakable. He said my name. Not my username. Not some generic nickname. My real name. Spoken flat, mechanical, but precise. For a second, I couldn't move. My whole body went cold, blood rushing out of my limbs like I'd been dunked in ice water. Mecha dreams. Did he just say what I think he said? User deleted. He knows who's watching. He always knows. I swallowed hard, trying to rationalize. Maybe I'd misheard. Maybe he said something similar. Maybe it was a coincidence. But deep down, I already knew better. At first, I thought it was just a performance until he spoke directly to me. And from that moment on, it didn't feel like I was watching the stream. It felt like the stream was watching me. I stared at the screen, trying to convince myself I'd misheard. That maybe the distortion of the microphone had twisted random noise into something that just sounded like my name. My mind ran circles, searching for an excuse, any excuse, that would keep this from being real. The man in the hood sat unervingly still, as if waiting for me to catch up. Then, without warning, he tilted his head, slowly, mechanically, until it was angled too far. To be natural, the mask covered his face, but I felt his eyes lock on mine. When he spoke again, the distortion didn't hide the words. You, in the black hoodie, don't look behind you. My breath caught in my throat. I was wearing a black hoodie. I was alone in my room, headphones on, the glow of the monitor the only light. Slowly, against my better judgment, I turned my head. There was nothing, just the usual mess of clothes on the chair, the pile of soda cans by the door. But for those few seconds, my pulse was so loud it drowned out everything else. The chat erupted into chaos. Eyewitness. OH my god, he's doing it again. Chill guy 420. LOL scripted. You are hoodie prob on cam somehow. Deleted user 45. Listen to him. He's never wrong. WTH 123. This is live, right? This is live. Some viewers begged me to leave, typing warnings in all caps. Others taunted me, urging me to stay, to see what would happen next. I felt trapped between both voices, fear gnawing at me, curiosity pulling me forward. I typed nothing. Somehow, I knew typing wouldn't matter. He already knew I was here. The figure leaned forward, gloved hands folding neatly on the table. You think this is anonymous, he said, his voice a warped chorus of tones, high and low, overlapping in ways a human throat couldn't produce. But you're mistaken. You're not an observer. You're a participant. My mouth went dry. The word participant felt heavy, final, like a sentence being passed down. In the corner of the screen, new messages flashed by. Someone new. He called me out last time. I didn't leave. I wish I had. Burnt match. Leave, leave, leave. Stream lover. Nah man, this is performance art. Chill. The hooded man tapped the microphone again. Thump, thump. Then he listed an address. My address. Down to the street and apartment number. I froze, staring at the screen as the chat went feral. Anonymous01. How does he know? User deleted. He sees you. He always sees you. Kill nipples. This is doxing, bro, fake AF. But I knew it wasn't fake. He'd said it too calmly, too precisely. My fingers hovered over the laptop, ready to slam it shut. But then he spoke one more time, each word stretched out, deliberate. Leave, and you'll never know. Stay, and you'll see the end. That line hit me harder than the address. Leave and be safe, or stay and know the truth. It was the ultimate bait, the sharp hook that dug into my chest. Because the truth was, I couldn't leave. Not yet. I needed to know what the end meant. I wasn't alone in that. The chat split into factions, half shouting at me to disconnect, the other half spamming, stay, stay, stay. I wish I could tell you I was brave, that I leaned back in my chair, laughed it off, closed the laptop. But I didn't. My cursor hovered, my stomach turned, and still, I couldn't look away. The man straightened, his hood casting his face in deeper shadow. He lifted one hand and snapped his fingers. The light bulb in my room flickered. Not his room. Mine. For a heartbeat, everything was plunged into darkness. Then the glow of my monitor returned, bathing me in cold light. When I looked back at the stream, he was smiling. I couldn't see his mouth, but I swear I felt the grin stretch across his face. And that was when the acts began, subtle at first, but escalating into something that twisted the line between performance and reality into a knot I couldn't untangle. At first, it was subtle, just little things that could have been dismissed as coincidence. The hooded man tilted his head, and the audio crackled in my headphones with a piercing shriek, sharp enough to make me tear them off. When I set them back, the chat was laughing. Lol nope, bro flinched Mio. Redacted user. He tested him. First sign. Burnt match. Leave before he marks you. I tried to laugh with the trolls, but the timing had been too perfect. Like the sound hadn't come from my speakers, but from inside the room. The figure reached beneath the table and dragged something up into view. At first, it looked like a mannequin's arm, pale and stiff, the joints locked at unnatural angles. He set it down with a heavy clunk. Then another, and another, until the table was lined with mismatched limbs, like pieces of a puppet waiting to be reassembled. The chat erupted in a frenzy. Eyewitness, those are real. Look at the nails. Chill guy 420. Nah props, dude, chill. Someone new. He does this every time. He builds them. The hooded man arranged the arms with delicate precision, then paused, turning slightly toward the camera. Choose, he rasped. the distortion in his voice splitting it into layers. Left or right? The chat exploded. Some typed left, others spammed right. The feed filling so quickly I could barely read. My own fingers hovered over the keyboard, itching to join in. But a pit opened in my stomach. What if my choice actually mattered? I didn't type. Still, the chat's votes piled up in favor of left. The man obeyed. He lifted the leftmost arm and, without hesitation, snapped the fingers backward one by one. The sound was so sharp, so crisp, it cut through the speakers like it was happening inches from my ear. Screams filled the chat. Some were typed, others weren't. I swear I heard them faintly layered into the audio, voices of people I couldn't see. I should have shut the laptop, should have yanked the cord from the wall, but I didn't. The man continued, piece by piece, turning the grotesque dismemberment into a kind of performance. Sometimes he waited for the chat to decide. Other times he ignored them, moving as though bound to an invisible script. And then it escalated. The video feed glitched, lines of static racing across the screen. For a split second, I saw my own reflection, not in the black monitor, but inside the stream itself. My room, my desk, me, hunched in front of the laptop. User deleted. He's pulling him in. Anonymous01. Once you see yourself, it's too late. Lol nope. Okay, nah, this editing is S tier. My hands trembled over the keyboard. I wanted to type, to scream back at the chat, but I couldn't make myself. Instead, I sat there like a specimen under glass. The hooded man placed both hands flat on the table. Slowly, he began to recite something in a language I didn't recognize. The words reverberated through my speakers, low and guttural, vibrating in my ribs. The camera shook, not violently, but with a steady rhythm, like the beat of a heart. That's when I heard it, behind me. Not through the headphones, not from the laptop, but in the actual air of my room. The same guttural chant, repeating in sync, as though someone unseen stood just out of sight. My blood froze. I didn't dare look back. The chat spiraled into panic. Burnt match. Don't turn around. Eyewitness. Oh God, it's happening again. Someone new. This is the rules. Phase 2. Rules. That word stuck with me, crawling under my skin. Rules meant this wasn't random. It wasn't improv. This was ritual, structured, practiced, repeated. The chant grew louder, the feed glitching harder, colors bleeding into one another. For a moment, the screen showed dozens of watchers, silhouettes hunched at their desks, faces blurred, but posture unmistakable. An army of voyeurs, each trapped in their own rooms, mirrors of me. And then the hooded man stopped. Silence dropped like a curtain. He leaned close to the mic. Phase 3 begins when you choose. The chat froze. No spam, no trolling, just silence. Then one message appeared, stark and alone. Anonymous01. He means you. I sat paralyzed, staring at the screen. My cursor hovered over the chat box, a blinking line daring me to type. The weight of hundreds of unseen eyes pressed down, waiting. I typed nothing. The hooded man chuckled, or at least, a warped imitation of laughter came through the speakers. He snapped his fingers again. This time, it wasn't my lamp that flickered. It was the entire laptop. The screen blinked, and for a heartbeat, the camera feed was gone, replaced by the webcam view of my own face. My own terrified expression staring back at me. When the feed returned, he was closer than ever, mask almost filling the frame. And even through the distortion, I felt him smile. Because by then, I understood, I wasn't watching a live stream. I was in it. That's when I saw my own room on the stream. Not a glitch. Not some vague shadow that could be passed off as a coincidence. No, the camera angle was perfect. My desk. My unmade bed behind me. The cracked poster frame on the wall. It was my room, right now, streaming live to everyone watching. And me, frozen in my chair, mouth slightly open, eyes wide like I'd been caught in the middle of a crime I didn't understand. The chat detonated. Burnt match. He's in. He's in. Lol nope. Bro, I'm done, this ain't funny. Eyewitness. Stop watching, stop. Redacted user. Final phase, final phase, final phase. Their words blurred together, piling into a vertical storm that made me nauseous. I couldn't tell who was panicking and who was egging it on anymore. The hooded man leaned back into frame, sitting beside the feed of me, side by side, like we were co-hosts on the same twisted channel. He raised one gloved hand and snapped his fingers. The chat count dropped instantly, from thousands to hundreds, then to dozens. It was like people were being erased one by one. Names winked out mid-sentence, like they'd never existed. And yet, I didn't hear them leave. No log-off sounds. No, user has disconnected. Just silence where voices had been seconds before. The hooded man tilted his head. "They don't stay," he said. His voice was clearer now, less distorted, more intimate. "Not everyone makes it through." The words lodged under my skin like hooks. My laptop whined, fans spinning so fast I thought it would burst into flames. The screen warped, and for a moment, I saw not just my room, but dozens of others, mirrors stacked on top of each other. Bedrooms, basements, offices. People hunched at their desks, wide, horrified eyes glowing against the pale blue of their screens. All of us trapped in the same broadcast. All of us chosen. I swallowed hard, throat dry as sandpaper. Chosen for what? I whispered, though I hadn't unmuted my mic. The hooded man laughed, and my speakers buzzed with static. Phase 4. My stomach lurched. I hadn't even seen Phase 3. Unless Phase 3 had been me. The chat sputtered. A few stragglers typed desperate warnings. Someone new. Don't answer him. Anonymous01. Once he speaks, you're marked. Burt match. I told you to leave, I told you to leave. And then they started vanishing, too. One after another, until the chat box was almost empty. Only 3 usernames remained, blinking against the void. Redacted user. Stay till the end. See what no one else sees. Anonymous01. Run. Message deleted. The hooded man reached forward, and suddenly the camera feed shifted. Not his feed. Mine. The green light of my webcam blinked on, unprompted. I lunged for it, fumbling to cover it with my thumb. But it didn't matter. The image of me was already on the screen, lagging a half-second behind my real movements. Every twitch, every shake, every tear. And then, to my horror, the hooded man was no longer beside me in the split screen. He was behind me. In the stream, not in reality. I told myself that, over and over. He was in the stream. Just pixels. Just code. But in the video window, he loomed directly over my shoulder, gloved hand stretching toward my neck. I felt the ghost of a touch brush against my skin. I screamed and spun around. Nothing. Just my empty room. But when I turned back, his fingers were already curling around the reflection of my throat in the stream. The chat box was empty now. Just a blinking cursor, waiting for my input. "Say it," he whispered. His voice wasn't coming from the speakers anymore. It was in the room with me, vibrating the air. I clamped my mouth shut, shaking my head. "Say it," he repeated, tightening his phantom grip on the version of me on screen. My reflection's lips turned blue. My real chest tightened, air refusing to come. I slammed the laptop shut. Darkness. Silence. But the pressure on my throat didn't stop. I staggered back, clawing at my own skin, gasping like a fish on a dock. My heart hammered so loud it drowned out everything else. And then, nothing. The grip released. I sucked in air, collapsing against the wall. My laptop sat closed on the desk, as harmless as any other piece of tech. I wanted to believe it was over, that I'd cut the cord before the final step. But then I heard it. A ping. Soft. Familiar. The sound of a new chat message. I froze. Slowly, I lifted the lid. The screen flickered to life, and there it was, the stream, frozen on my image. My webcam still on, though the light had gone dark. And a single line in the empty chat box. Redacted user, you're still here. Good. That means you belong to us now. The hooded man leaned forward, filling the screen one last time. Phase 5, he said. The silence after. And then the stream cut to black. Just silence. No chat. No video. No proof. Only me, staring at a dead screen, trying to convince myself I hadn't been dragged into something I could never leave. But the worst part? I can't shake the feeling that I'm still live. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that frozen frame of me, blue lips, webcam light burning like a spotlight, just waiting for the hooded figure to return. When I finally convinced myself to breathe, to act like a functioning human, I did what every sane person does after a horrifying, probably supernatural encounter. I opened my laptop again. Brilliant idea, I know. The screen blinked awake, but the stream was gone. No evidence in my history. No cached files. It was like my computer had been scrubbed clean while I wasn't looking. For half a second, I almost laughed. Maybe it really was a psychotic dream. A marathon of horror videos mixed with sleep deprivation. A brain glitch. Then I noticed the folder on my desktop. One I hadn't created. It was named Live. Inside, nothing but a single corrupted file. I clicked it anyway, of course, because I'm an idiot, and the screen flashed white. My speakers hissed like a snake. And under the static, faint and distorted, I swear I heard my own voice whispering something I couldn't understand. I yanked the power cord out so fast I almost ripped it from the wall. That's when the paranoia really started to sink in. I kept hearing phantom pings, like new messages arriving, even when my computer was off. My phone buzzed in the middle of the night, but when I checked, no notifications. Just the faint outline of that same folder, Live, sitting in my photo gallery for half a second before disappearing. I tried to laugh it off. Okay, cool. I've officially given myself malware from hell. But curiosity is a disease. I went back to the same forums where I'd first found the link. And nothing. Threads wiped clean. Usernames deleted. Entire accounts replaced with error messages. Except one. A stray comment buried under hundreds of blank threads. It read, "This wasn't the first stream. They happen every few years. Different host, same rules." My skin crawled. I scrolled down, desperate for more. The account that posted it had been deleted seconds after leaving the comment. It didn't matter. The seed was planted. If there had been others before me, then maybe there were others after. Maybe that was why the stream count dropped. Viewers didn't just leave, they'd been recruited. Absorbed. I slammed the laptop shut again, but the thought gnawed at me like rats in the walls. How many people had been erased already? How many thought they were just watching until the camera turned on them? Worse, how many never even realized they were live until it was too late? I started unplugging things. My webcam, my mic, my router. I even stuck tape over my phone camera. The paranoia felt ridiculous, like I was starring in one of those cheesy internet safety ads. But every creak in the floorboards, every faint vibration from my phone made me flinch. The world didn't feel real anymore. That's when the thought hit me. Maybe it isn't. Maybe this stream never ended. Maybe this, right now, me telling you this, is just another phase. I shouldn't even be recording this, but I have to. Because if I don't, I'll vanish like the others. At least if I leave this behind, someone will know. Someone will remember. If this video disappears, you'll know why. Because this wasn't just one live stream. It's a network. A cycle. And I've already seen the next date whispered in the shadows of a forum that doesn't exist anymore. A date that isn't far away. And if you're still watching, if you've made it this far, then maybe that means you've been chosen, too. If you're still here, if you've listened all the way through, then I need you to do something for me. Check your browser history. Right now, scroll back through the tabs you've opened today. See if there's anything strange, something you don't remember clicking. Maybe a link you swear you never touched, or a video with a title that doesn't make sense. Why? Because that's how it started for me. Just a glitch in the feed, a stray link that appeared out of nowhere. And when I clicked, my life stopped belonging to me. I know what you're thinking. It's just a story. It's creepypasta. It's entertainment. Sure, that's what I told myself the first night too. But if you really believe that, then do me a favor. Go search the phrase X59 live. Try it. Right now. See if anything comes up. I'll wait. Did you find it? No. Maybe a couple of blank pages. Maybe nothing at all. That's the point. It disappears almost as quickly as it surfaces. And if by some miracle you do find it, Don't click. Don't even hover. The stream doesn't need your permission anymore. Some of you are probably laughing, typing in the comments already. Nice story, bro. You almost got me. And that's fine. But some of you felt that chill in your stomach just now. The same one I felt before my screen froze and showed me my own room. I need those people to speak up. If you've ever seen something like this before, if you've stumbled on a stream you couldn't explain, tell me. Leave a comment. Share your own experience. Not because it'll make me feel better, but because every time someone talks, it leaves a trace. It makes it harder for them to erase us. And maybe, just maybe, it gives the rest of us a fighting chance. I'll warn you, though, once you speak, they might notice you. That's the risk. Silence might keep you safe. Talking might make you vanish. It's a coin flip. So I'll ask again, do you feel lucky? One more thing. If this video ever disappears, if it suddenly gets taken down without explanation, don't just shrug and move on. That's what they want. Re-upload it, mirror it, spread it. If enough people keep it alive, maybe the cycle breaks. But if you never hear from me again, you'll know the stream took me back. Until then, check your feeds carefully tonight. Don't trust every live thumbnail you see. And if your own face shows up on screen, run. I keep telling myself I'm done, that I've said everything I needed to say, that I've warned whoever was willing to listen. I keep repeating the same mantra before I try to sleep. It's over. It's over. It's over. But the truth is, it's never really over. I can feel it lurking at the edges, like a shadow just outside the doorframe. My laptop stays shut now, my phone face down on the dresser, but it doesn't matter. The glow creeps in anyway, like light bleeding through a curtain you can't quite close. Sometimes, when the house is silent, I swear I hear the low hum of a stream buffering. Not from my devices, but from somewhere else. A phantom sound, filling the room with static, just loud enough to make me wonder if it's real. And then there are the notifications. God, I wish I was imagining them. That soft, metallic ping that cuts through the silence. It doesn't come from Discord or YouTube or any app one recognizes. It's sharper, colder, like the sound of glass cracking. The first time I heard it, I thought it was just my mind playing tricks on me. The second time, I froze. The third time, I looked. The icon was there, glowing in the corner of my screen even though my computer was powered down. Same username. Same thread I thought was gone forever. The invite. I haven't clicked. Not yet. I tell myself I won't. But that's what I said the first time, isn't it? That's the trap. The stream doesn't end. It waits. It circles back around, finding new ways to pull you in. And once you've seen it, once you've carried its images inside you, it doesn't matter if you close the tab or smash the screen. You're already part of it. That's why I'm leaving this here. Not because I think I can stop it, but because someone needs to remember. Someone needs to know it's still out there. If this post vanishes, if my name disappears, don't bother looking for me. Just know I tried. Wait, that sound. The notification again. Louder this time. I shouldn't look. I won't look. It says, live now. The stream just went live again. And this time, I think it's for me.